Hey guys, it's me, it's Queen Set Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Asking Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button, smack the bell, give this video a thumbs up, leave us a positive comment in the comment section, pass this video on to somebody else who might like it too, and don't forget to stay to the end of this video to see if one of your comments was one of my favorite comments of the day. Okay? All right, guys. So I got a very interesting question from an Aquarius woman. I love talking to y'all. I mean, all of y'all. And when I talk to the Aquarius, it's so amazing because it's like I get to see myself. It's like a mirror. And when I talk to people who aren't Aquarius, I get to see the outside, the other perspective in many cases. So it's very beneficial. I think it has balanced out my perspective extremely over the years. I think I've been doing Asking Aquarius probably a couple of years now. It's got to be like 3 or 4 years now. And I think that over time I've just become more balanced because of that perspective. So it's been really good. So this Aquarius woman wants to know how she can be more sensitive to her partner's feelings. I'm going to give you guys a little backstory. Apparently, her dude told her that she's harsh. He told her that she's a little bit harsh, that he doesn't feel like that she's really sensitive or takes into consideration his feelings. And sometimes men would not say something like this. They would just, suck it up. Because that's what we teach our men to do. We teach them to suck it up, and then we wonder why when they do something psychotic. It's because of society. It's our fault. So in this case, this guy, he's a Pisces. She's Aquarius. He's a Pisces. And this guy in this case had the common sense not to suck it up. And I'm like, that's what's up, brother. That's how you do that. And he said to her, look, I understand that I'm a man and you're a woman and blah, blah, blah. But you need to be more sensitive to my feelings. You need to be more understanding and open to my feelings if this relationship is going to go somewhere. They've only been together like 6 months. So I gave him props for saying something. So many men would not have said anything. So many men would have just dumped her or went and started hanging out with somebody else, or they would have not said anything and just continued in the relationship and been unhappy until they decided they didn't want to do that anymore. So I give him mad props for that. I was really impressed with that. So anyway, he said that, and then she said to me, she came to me and she said, how do I learn to do that? And I was like, uh-oh. Because that's a tall order, but I have an answer. So I said to her, it's a tall order, but it's very possible. I had to do the same thing myself. And many Aquarius probably have had to figure this out. So I said to her, the first thing you have to do is become more emotionally intelligent. Emotionally intelligent means you have to understand emotion. You have to understand feelings. And there's a really good book called Emotional Intelligence. It's on Amazon. And when I'm finished talking, I'm going to put a link to it underneath this video in case any of you want to get it. Now, mind you, I recommend this one, and there are many, but I recommend this one because this is the one that comes the most highly recommended. So I'm going to give you the link to that underneath this video, and I'll explain a little bit about what I'm talking about. Emotional intelligence, like I said before, is understanding feelings, understanding emotion, but not just understanding it, but understanding its importance, understanding how to express it, and understanding how to honor it. If you grew up in a household where that didn't happen, or if you're Aquarius like she is, and it's just something that's not of your nature, it's something that you can learn. There are all kind of books on emotional intelligence. There's all kind of books that talk about it. So you can learn more about emotion, learn more about its ins and out and how it works and how it shows up. And some people, when they're feeling a certain kind of way, act a certain kind of way, and you can see the correlations between that. There's a lot to that. And from an intellectual standpoint, as an Aquarius, you can understand it. Once you understand it, then you'll be able to practice. If this is going to take some practice, you'll be able to then practice utilizing it. So the first thing I would do is try to learn emotional intelligence. The next thing you want to do is learn to recognize your own feelings, because she was saying to me that she is not a sensitive person, that even with her own feelings, she doesn't really feel like she really gives them she really gives them much focus and much importance. And I'm like, that's another problem. You are emotionally either repressing or suppressing or cutting off, annoying, whatever you're doing with your own emotions. So I was like, another thing you can do is begin to take notice of your own emotions. When you feel something, no matter what you feel, positive or negative, try to sit and be with it and figure out what it is that you feel and how it feels, and have I felt this way before? And ask yourself those kinds of questions. I actually did a what is it called? I did a video, and I'm going to put a link to it up here, and it was called Interview Your Feelings, and it was specifically done for Aquarius. Now anybody can use it, mind you, but I did it for me. So it was done for my little quirky Aquarius things in mind, but anybody can use it. And basically you interview yourself. You ask yourself, what are you feeling? What is going on with you? And there's a series of questions that you ask yourself, and you either write or speak the answers to yourself. And then you're like, oh, so I'm feeling frustrated. Okay. And then you'll start to identify what it is and how it feels. For an Aquarius, this is going to be very important. I know some of you are probably sitting there thinking like, wow, that's kind of basic. Yeah, because a lot of us don't know what it is that we're feeling. So it may seem basic to you if you have emotional intelligence, but to somebody who's detached from their emotions, who's hiding from their emotions, who's suppressing or repressing their emotions, it's going to be much more helpful. So take a look at that. The last thing you need to do is listen. Really listen to your partner, because if you learn him, and you're Aquarius, again, intellect, if you learn him, you'll be able to tell by his triggers, by his behavior, by what he says, by what he doesn't say. You'll be able to tell what he's feeling. So if he's upset about something and he comes home but doesn't tell you he's upset, you'll be able to tell by his triggers. Some people, when they're upset, you'll know his, but let me give you some of the possibilities. Some people, when they're upset and don't say anything, they come home and they start to eat. They just start to feed their feelings. They start to eat. It could be food, it could be candy, it could be whatever, sunflower seeds. Some of them, they automatically start to eat. That's one that I've noticed a lot. Another one is that when some people are upset or they're worried about something, they might have like little tics or little triggers. Like they might go like this. Some people rock back and forth when they're upset. And they might not tell you that they're upset. They might even be talking to you like, yeah, da, 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 and they're just rocking. That's, for some people, not everybody, a sign that they might be upset about something. They might start to, like squeeze their hands, Some people do that when they're upset. So if he's saying that you're not picking up on his feelings when he's not saying them, those are some things that'll help you see them. And you'll be like, oh, okay. So every time he gets upset, he does X. Okay. And that'll give you a nice little trigger for yourself. Now remember, in order to pick up on something like that, you have to be paying attention. So that's why I said you have to really listen to your partner. Notice I didn't say talk, I said listen. Because you have to really pay attention, and you have to listen and watch and pay attention. And then you'll be able to see those things. Likewise, he also said that sometimes he's telling you his feelings and you're not being sensitive to them. So in those cases, it's not even any guesswork. That's just listening. So if he says to you, I feel some type of way because you didn't call me back. I feel some type of way because we had plans and you canceled them without any consideration for my feelings, for example. Then when he says that, don't just blow it off and be like, you'll be all right. The old me, the cold me would be like, whatever, dude, don't do that. If he says that, then slow down and just say, okay, and talk it out. Let him talk about how it made him feel. Ask him, what would you have rather I did? Because maybe he can tell you, like, next time you're busy, can you please just shoot me a text and tell me you'll be busy until tomorrow? He'll give you some clues or some in a lot of cases they'll give you some steps that they would like to take, that they know that you're understanding and sensitive to their feelings, but you're still doing you. So if you need to take a couple days to yourself, or, Aquarius have a tendency to need some space. So he might say, I'm cool with you needing space, but could you at least tell me? Which is a fair question, Could you at least just shoot me a text? Like, I need some space. I feel wishy-washy. Let's talk tomorrow. Instead of just disappearing, going radio silent. And then he's wondering, is she dead in the ditch? Did I do something? He's wondering all night what happened to you, People don't realize when you do things like that, if the other person cares about you, they're worried about you. It's not just them trying to be possessive or whatever the case is. They're wondering, like, she didn't call me back and she always calls me back. Is she hurt? Is she in the hospital? Like, what happened? So something like that. So listening and watching, because there's listening with your ears and there's watching, there's really noticing your partner. And if you do these things that I talked about, that will help. But the biggest thing about this is you have to practice it. You have to practice it, and you have to ask him, after practicing it for a while, ask him, do you feel like I'm getting better? I'm really working on this. I'm really trying. Do you feel like I'm getting better? Ask him. And once it's at a point where he's like, you on point, then to just keep doing those things the way that you're doing them. The best thing about this whole thing is that, Aquarius, you ask the question. You do care, because if you didn't care about his feelings, you wouldn't have asked me the question. So first and foremost, you've taken the first most important step. You give a shit. That's the most important step. You actually do care. And then you ask somebody else, hey, how do I do this? Because I don't know how. Now, the next step, the third one, is to take the things that I've said, the ones that work for you, take them. The ones that don't, throw them. Take the ones that work for you and see how you can incorporate them into your relationship. Okay? All right, sweetheart. I wish you both the best of luck. All right, now it's time for us to look at the comments of the day. So the first comment of the day came from Jordan Oliver. Jordan is my boy. It says here that Jordan received one of the highest numbers of hearts from me. Jordan and I pretty much talk every day, and he has a page too, and I often go to his page and watch his videos when I can and drop a message. So Jordan is really cool. Aquarius, really good guy. And he said, let me see, he's been subscribed for over a year. He said, a normal life is boring. I'd rather be creative and eccentric than be a follower that falls for anything. Aquarius is front stage center as of 2020. We definitely often are front stage center. And I agree with you too. I would much rather be creative and eccentric than just live a boring existence and then just die. At least I had some fun with it, And the next comment, thank you so much for your comments, Jordan. You're really, really cool. Thank you. And the next one is from Tyler. Tyler, I think, is new. It doesn't tell me here when he subscribed, but I think Tyler is new, or maybe he's just new to commenting. Hey, Tyler, thank you. I noticed this one because my father's middle name is Tyler. And I was like, oh, I used to always, there was a song by Luther Vandross called Dance with My Father. And I used to always call it Dance with My Tyler, because that was my daddy's name, his middle name. And I don't know why I took to calling him Tyler instead of Dad. I'm not sure what that was about, but it must be an Aquarius thing because we're both Aquarius. Tyler said, amazing content. I really liked it. Tyler, thank you so much. I do my best to give interesting content. I feel like if I'm going to ask you to give me your time and your energy and your focus and your likes and your comments, the least I can do is do some content that's interesting. You know, I try not to do the same thing over and over again, and I try to switch things up and come up with new innovative ideas and things like that. So thank you for enjoying the channel, and thank you for noticing. And there were many comments. Every day there's many comments. I just pick out a couple of my favorites, although I appreciate every single one. All right, guys, if you would like to get a reading done, please email me. Underneath this video will be my email and all my information. And I will talk to you later. Come back soon because I have a lot more to say.